Hello guys, welcome to today's live. We're going to be discussing past questions, physics. If you look at your screen, this is past question for last video. I'm physics questions, and I'll give you now. As we delve into this, if you are joining us, drop your location so that we'll know where you are joining us from. Just indicate so that we'll know where you are joining us from. And then if you are part of this live, any question is practicals, especially science subjects. When it comes to physics, practicals are experience here. So if you see anybody failing physics exams, it's because that individual toyed with his or her practicals. So if you want to really pass your exams, I'm telling you, don't joke with your physics practicals beginning from today. And if you don't have any knowledge about physics practicals, I would advise you to go back and begin to do something, especially the plotting of graph and the rest. Go and learn them. It is very important if you want to pass your exams with flying colors. Now, if practicals is over 35% or is 35%, how many percent of the scores are left? Is 65%. So can you see that you can't pass? Yes. That means you must pass all the OBJ, you must score all the theory answer and whatever. And if you score everything, it's going to give you 65. And 65 cannot give you your B2 or B3. So you see that you need your practical to pass perfectly. So please, in this video, I'm going to be giving you secrets. And anytime you come across this video, drop your location so that I can welcome you properly to this live. And throughout these coming days, I'll try to see that I come live so that I'll be giving you tips and tricks, and then we'll be solving past questions to see how equipped and prepared we are before the exams begins. So if you are ready, let's go. Now, let's look at this question being displayed. I want to show you something. Just be observing the topics. The first question here is under machine. What class is it? SS2. Now, if you look at question 2, we might say it's SS1, all right? But part of it is also in SS2. So let's come to question number 3. This is SS2 work. Let's go to number 4, SS2 work. Number 5, SS2 work. Question number 6, look at it. Some schools, they treat this in SS2, while in others, it's treat this in SS3. Question number 7, SS2 work. Question number 8, are you seeing it? This is SS2 work. Then, question number 9, what class is this? This is SS2 work. Question 10, this is SS1. SS1, out of 10 questions, only 1 question came from SS1 and 1 question from SS3 for some schools. Are you getting the, we're going to do the analogy and we're going to do the proportional, or how am I going to put it? The proportion between SS1, SS2 and SS3 scheme of work, so that you know where you are going to concentrate on when you are preparing for your exams. I'm telling you the fact. Question 11, look at it. This SS2 work. Question 12, SS2 in some school, but majorly SS3 work. Are you getting this? Then, question 13, SS2. Question 14, SS2. Question 15, SS2. Question 16 is what? Is still under machine. This is SS1 in some school, while others SS2. But let's assume it's SS1. Question 17 and 18, SS1. Are you here? Then question 19. Can you see it? Question 19. What do you see? This is SS1 and also SS3. Yes, majorly SS3. Question 20, SS3. Let's proceed. 21. Are you here? 21, SS1, SS2. This is sound wave. 22, SS2. 23. Yes, SS2. 24. Look at it, SS2. 25, SS2. 26. What do you see? What do you see? If you are part of this life, we are trying to analyze the ratio of questions from SS1, SS2, and SS3 scheme of work. 26. Which of the following statements about stationary wave is not true? SS2. In a closed pipe, SS2. 28. A radioactive, SS3. Are you here? Then I lost the page here, which I'm going to update later. 40, SS2. 41, SS3. 42, SS2. 43, SS3. 44, SS3. Then 45. Some school SS3, while some SS2. 46. Yes, SS2. 47. What do you see? SS2. 48. What do you see? SS1. 49. Yes, we can assume it's SS3. Then 50. Of course, you are meant to know this in SS1, but based on the topic being treated, it is part of SS3 work. So, based on my analogy, close to 70% of the questions that you are going to meet in WAEC, they are going to come from SS2 scheme of work. So, do you see that, or can you see that if you are very good with your SS2 syllabus, there is no way you fail WAEC? This is OBJ. I've not even gone to the section B yet. Even in section B, which is theory section, it's still the same thing. If you go to the practical session, all your practicals are SS2 work. Yes. In fact, check it, all the years. Are you talking about optics? It's SS2 work. Are you talking about mechanics? SS2 work now. So even whatever practicals you carry out in WAEC, if you pay attention critically, you will see that they are SS2 work. So I put it to you that if you are not good with SS2 work, you fail WAEC physics. This is my observation. You can't hear it from anybody. Then, if you are still in SS1 and SS2 and you come across this video, I'm putting it to you to be serious with your SS2 work. Because if you fail to do so, I'm telling you, you are going to have serious issue. You have serious issue with your exams. And I don't want you to have serious issues with your exams. Hence, you make sure you pay attention to whatever is going on in SS2. And of course, you need SS1 to build the foundation. And then, so that you'll be able to pass this properly. So, if you are joining us again, please can you indicate in the comment section? Drop your location so that I can welcome you properly. Yes, We are preparing ourselves for WAEC 2026. This is day one. Yes, this is day one. I might not solve any question today, but I'll be giving you tips and tricks. Now, let's begin with tips and tricks now. If you observe physics questions, you will see that majorly calculations are attached to them, except few. Now, if you come across these questions, you also observe that your parameters given in the question always come with what? Your parameter will always come with SI unit. Are you here? Observe. There is no question in physics that will be given to you, especially when it involves calculation, that you will not see values, parameters given to you. And when these values are given to you, you will see that SI units are attached to these values. So what I'm trying to say here is this. If you are in the exam hall and you find it difficult to solve a particular question, okay, what you will do is that all your parameters given to you, try to list them out. Okay, try to list them out. If you're able to list your parameters out and you are able to attach their SI units, okay, if you're able to do this, attach their SI units, you see that this will give you a clue as to which formula you can use in solving your problem. But if you fail to do your homework by knowing some basic formulas, then that's where you now have issues. But if you know your basic formulas, but you're having issues with the formula that you are going to use in solving a particular problem directly, the SI units attached to the questions will help you. They will guide you in solving that particular question. I don't know if somebody is understanding or getting what I'm saying here. Your SI units will guide you in solving physics questions. Now, number 2 tips. While solving your question, when it is OBJ section, you don't need to waste your time. These are some of the secrets I give to JAMB students, and it has always been helping them. Are you here? Now, if you come across, let's assume you come across this question, for example, okay? Now you see the options here. You see the options. Now, there is no option in physics that would not have SI unit attached to the option. Are you following? You see that there are SI unit attached, especially if your questions involve values. You see that SI units will be attached to that particular problem. Like this one, you are seeing percentage, you are seeing percentage, you are seeing percentage, you are seeing percentage. So this is giving you a clue, all right, that your answer must be in percentage, and that whatever you are looking for has to be in percentage. So when solving WAEC question, always check your options first. Check the SI unit attached to the options first before you begin to solve. It will give you an idea as to what you are looking for. I don't know if somebody is getting me. This will give you an idea as to what you are looking for or solving for. And that is a fact. So, what I'm telling you here is this. After you're able to establish this fact, then you can begin to solve your problem. And you can bring out the formula that will be able to meet that particular problem or solve that particular problem. I believe somebody is with me here. So please, these are some of the tips and tricks I said I'll give to you today so that you'll be able to solve or attempt your questions properly. Now, if you are joining us, this question you are seeing on your screen, I want you to attempt it before we do. Yes, I want you to attempt it before we will do that generally. Now, what are the other tips and tricks you can be able to imbibe as you prepare for your WAEC exams? If you look at this, you see that there is a equation for motion here. So basically, you must know the equations of motion. Failure to know the equations of motion, I will assume that you have known the equations of motion, because if you don't, then there's going to be a huge issue. You're going to have huge problem when solving your exam questions. Are you here? So please, I need to adjust my screen so that I can be able to do some writings. Now, if you observe this, your equations of motion, your first equation, V equals what? U plus AT. Don't forget this. Then S equals what? UT plus half AT squared. Are you here? Now, the third one is V squared equals U squared plus 2AS. I want to show you something quickly. If you know this particular equation, these three, then your work is half solved or half done. Because these three equations, you still convert them from linear motion to motion due to gravity when you are referring to vertical motion now. Because your U, this plus will change to plus or minus. This is plus or minus, and this is plus or minus. And then your A becomes G. Yes. So you are going to have V equals what? U plus or minus AT, but this becomes GT. My pen is misbehaving. I don't know if you are following. So with this single equation, you can get the singular equation for motion. You can get equation for linear motion. Okay, linear motion, motion due to gravity. You can also use it, if you have this idea, you can use it also for simple harmonic motion, but not directly. Yes, but the one you majorly use it will be a projectile. Yes, projectile. You are going to combine both linear and that of gravity to give you that of projectile. So if you have an idea, you see that with this singular equation, these three equations of motion, you can use them and solve problems under almost 4 to 5 topics. So these are basic formulas that you need to know. And once you know these formulas, they will help you in passing your exams. Then after that, you know that after motion, we now move to what? Work, energy, and power. Your basic formulas to know there is your formula for work. Okay, formula for work, then your formula for energy, and your formula for power. If you know these formulas, then you can use them in solving problems. But you know that, of course, you need to know the formula for force. Yes. And then you know that force equals weight, and weight equals upward reaction, and it also equals friction based on the SI unit. So if this is MA, this becomes mg, and this gives you what? This will give you mu r, and this r will give you F over what? Mu over what? F over mu will give you this. So you see that with this particular equation, you will be able to attempt most of the problem, but these are the basic formulas you need to know so that you'll be able to attempt questions when it comes to your WAEC examination. So as we progress, your work, the formula for work, of course, is what? Force multiplied by distance. Yes, force multiplied by distance. And then we know that energy is the same thing with work, and still the ability and capacity to do work. Hence, we know that power equals what? Work over time or energy over time. So with this, you'll be able to know that when you have problems that has to do with energy, work, and power, you'll be able to use this. And we have different topics with this concept embedded into them. Yes, if you go to machine, you apply this concept and this principle. If you go to heat, under SS2, that is heat energy, you also apply this particular concept. Anything that has to do with joules, yes, you apply some of this concept, but you are going to change them. And hence, if you have kinetic energy, then kinetic energy will give us what? Half mv squared. Yes. And for you to know this, it means you must know your linear momentum. Yes. And all those particular formulas. So I'm giving you tips and tricks on how you can pass your WAEC this year with flying colors. After that, we move to electricity. As I showed you earlier, now look at this question particularly. This is what I'm saying. Let me bring your attention to this. You see this. Look at the SI unit. They are in joules. So you see that these are the basic topics that you need to know. Yes, basic topics that you need to know in order to pass your exams. And as we go further, you see that there's a question here, if not two, yes, on electricity. So you must know your major formulas under electricity. If you don't, then you're going to have issues. Yes, you're going to have serious issues. But let me bring your attention to Ohm's law. And under Ohm's law, we know that V equals IR, isn't it? Yes, and from this, you can break this into 3 and you obtain your basic formulas, your voltage, your current, and your formula for resistance. You can also obtain that particular formula from here. So what again can you obtain using this particular electricity? Your basic formulas that you need to know under electricity. You need to know your formula for power. And you see power being repeated here now, but this power relates to electricity. So we know that P equals what? I what? V. P equals IV. And then because you know this particular formula, then you begin to substitute this formula into this particular one. And you have all the other combinations under this particular topic. I hope you are following this particular concept. Then after that, you go to waves. Waves. If you look at this past question, you see that there are questions under waves. I'm giving you clues as to the topics that are most frequent in WAEC. And under waves, we know that V equals F lambda. And basically, this formula comes from V equals distance over time. Yes, it is when you change your time to period and then you bring in frequency, then you change your distance to lambda, which is wavelength, that you obtain V equals F lambda. I believe you've known this formula, and they might not ask you to prove them in your WAEC exams, but the application now is very, very important. You should be able to know how to solve from one level to arrive at the other level. Yes. Then, if you also observe, you see that there are questions here that has to do with lenses. Yes, lens. So if you come across a question like that, then you must know your mirror equation. Yes, your mirror equation. And what is the mirror equation? 1 over F equals what? 1 over U plus 1 over v. Your mirror equation must be known. And once you know this particular equation, you'll be able to solve problems that have to do with magnification, which is v over u. Yes. And then you can also apply this to mirrors, apply this to lenses. Depends on which area the question comes. But this is a major problem or formula that you must know. Yes, this is a formula that you must know. And which is why if you are given radius, then what becomes your f? What becomes your f if you are given radius? Because there will be some situation where you'll be given radius and you'll not be given the focal length. Yes, but you can use this to find your focal length. If you know it, drop it in the comment section. I want to see it. Yes, drop it in the comment section. Now, many WAEC questions become simple substitution method. Once the correct formula is identified, once you're able to know the correct formula, then you see that the basic thing you are going to do is just substitution. That's the work you are doing. It's just to substitute, and then you solve your problem, and then you go. Now, while solving your problem, I'm going to give you another secret. This is WAEC, not your internal exams. If you want to pass with flying colors, this is WAEC. Hence, you don't even know who is going to mark your script. And hence, you are going to ensure that I'm giving you this clue now, especially when it comes to section B, that computer is not going to mark. All right? Now, you must be very careful and make sure you leave no stone unturned. Make sure whatever you are doing, you do them perfectly, so that the marker or the examiner will have no reason to fail you. Yes. So while solving problems, like this particular one now, before you solve, you write solution. Begin with solution. Then you write given. Given. Yes. It means you are proving to your examiner that these are the parameters given from the equation. Like this particular question now, you see that if the distance between two successive troughs is 3.5 centimeters, the distance between two successive troughs becomes what? Wavelength, lambda. So your lambda equals 1.5. Are you here? Sorry, from the question here, I'm having 3.5 cm. And the wave travels a distance of what? You are given d to be 31.5 cm. In your t equals 1.5 seconds. What are you looking for? Your frequency f is unknown. Can you see that I gave you a particular formula when we started under waves, that v equals f lambda? Can you see it's a basic formula you need to know? And once you know this formula, then you must know the adjacent formulas that are going to use in connecting in order to find what you need. Yes. So from here, you see that once you begin with this has its own scores. Yes, all of this, there is a mark for all of this. So if you fail to do this, automatically you are dropping your marks. And once you drop your marks, your scores, what would you expect? Of course, you would expect not to score everything. So if you want to make sure you score everything, then ensure that your solution method is the best method. A method that is simple, plain, and clear to understand, even by an individual who hasn't studied physics before. So I'm giving you this clue so that you'll be able to solve your questions perfectly. If you don't do this, then there will be confusion. It will reduce your mark, and if you do them, it will also reduce mistakes while solving your problem. Then the next tip I'm going to give you is to watch the units carefully, SI units. Watch the units attached to the equations carefully. If you look at this in centimeters, This is in centimeters, and this is in seconds. Now, if I wish, I might not convert this to meters, but when I observe the final answer, I can see that the SI unit is the standard unit, which is hertz. And for us to get this, then we might convert this to meters, centimeters to meters, so that we can arrive at this particular SI unit. So make sure your SI units are being converted, okay, from cm to meters, from kilometers per hour to meters per hour, okay, from maybe grams to kilograms. Yes, don't forget all this. From minutes to seconds. You try to do all these conversions while solving your questions. Do not forget. Then let the meaning behind keywords. There are some certain keywords, like if I say efficiency now, you should know the meaning behind efficiency, which is useful output over input, or output power over input power multiplied by 100%. So please know some of this. When we are talking about gradient, what does it mean? It means the slope of a graph. It means the slope of a graph. Okay? Area under a graph. Area under a graph, like this particular question. Let me go back to the question. Question number 2, I think. Yes, let's look at question number 2. We are going to solve these questions later. But if you observe, this question is asking you to calculate the work done during the first 20 minutes of motion. And if you observe, the first 20 minutes of motion is this. Can you see? Is this. So you are calculating this area. That's what you are looking for. So you can be asked to find the work done. Okay? I'm not giving you expo here. But if you observe the SI unit, you know something. Then if you look at your vertical axis, what do you have? Force. If you look at the horizontal, what do you have? You have this. And majorly, when vertical comes against horizontal, what do you have? You have a shape in a form of gradient. So it's just like saying vertical over horizontal, and it gives you slope. And if you now say force over what? Displacement, and displacement has to do with distance, then you should know what you are looking for, and then you'll be able to find whatever they are asking you for. So please, it depends. They can ask you to find the resultant from here, okay, and other questions can come from this particular area. Don't forget that. Now, while solving questions, for example, if you're having difficulties, then you try to eliminate the two closest options that you think are not the answer, or is not the correct answer, leaving the two that you think are closely related, so that it will make your exams easier for yourself. Because sometimes you'll be confused as to which answer which answer to choose, or to select, or to shade. Yes, but once you are able to isolate some options that are clearly incorrect, then it makes your work easier for you. Then there are some questions you need to draw diagrams. Don't forget, you must draw diagrams, especially when it comes to physics question. Try to draw diagrams so that you'll be able to understand some particular concept, especially like projectile, like questions under simple harmonic motion, waves and the rest. You need to show diagrams so that you not make mistakes when solving these particular problems. Master your graph interpretation. Like this particular question now, if you don't understand graphs, then you have issues with this particular question. So master your graph properly. Then make sure you use approximation intelligently. When it comes to WAEC, they prefer using, maybe my answer is 20 points. If my answer is 20, they prefer you write 20.00. Yes, 2 decimal places. Make sure you use this. Stop approximating. Yes, they prefer your options or your final answer is in 2 decimal places. So please, especially your section B, so that you don't make mistakes while solving your problems. Please take note of this. Then special values like pi, like acceleration due to gravity, the speed of sound in air, in solid, and the rest, specific heat capacity, all those constant values, you should be able to know them and don't joke with them. So also know practical physics terms or physics language. Okay, like when we say precautions, you should be able to know what it means. All right, or sources of error. When we say accurate reading, or why you are repeating your readings, or why your eye level must or is very important, or why you need to switch off your keys. All this, you should be able to know the importance of all this so that it will help you in answering your questions. Please don't forget all this because, for example, to avoid error due to parallax, these are some of the concepts you need to know. Then time management matters. This is the last one. Time management matters. If you fail to use your time, then there's going to be issue. This your section A, there are 50 questions. If you spend 1 minute on each question, you have spent 50 minutes. Are you here? If you spend 30 seconds, you spend 25 minutes. Yes. So please know how to maximize your time because time will not wait for you and physics consume time. And based on the questions I'm seeing from the past 3-4 years, I think physics is a thing you pass very well. Yes, because this particular exam, my student passed this exam with A1. Yes, they passed this particular exam with A1. You can see how cheap it is. So if you are writing exam this year, pray that your own questions will be as cheap as this. Yes, that's my prayer for you too, so that you pass your exam very well. So with this, try to focus on, don't forget, motion, simple machines, heat transfer, electricity, waves, optics, radioactivity, magnetism, gas laws, energy transformations, and the rest, because this will help you to pass your exams. So today, our live session will be ending here. Tomorrow, I'll try to come online so that we'll begin to solve some of these questions. But before then, I want you to solve this particular question. This is under machine. And the number of wheels here, they are very important. Yes, they are not there for fashion. So please screenshot this particular problem, solve it, and these are your options. Okay, these are your options. They are going to show us how you arrive at your answer. Is that clear? So with this, we come to the end of today's session. If this video was helpful to you, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, so that YouTube algorithm will push this video to other people. Thank you very much.